Hey, how you guys doing? Let us get into this and start down the right path. Okay. Let's start into it. And then we'll get into, we're gonna do a Shaq versus Nakamura. The Rapid Blitz one. There was one really good one that Nakamura played. I mean, he plays a lot of good ones. I mean, there was, we're just gonna look at one of them though. There we go. Let's see what he's got. Thinking about playing, thinking about playing knight to g5 with the threat of going a4. It's kind of my idea. Just in case I get kicked back. This should be good. We got a pin on him. Let's get it moving and grooving, my friends. Thinking about pushing here. I'm going to push, then slide over and attack. Push on c5 and then go a3. I also have knight to f7 at the right moment too. So we always got to keep an eye on that. Knight f7 is huge. So I have a bunch of threats that my opponent has to parry or parry at this time. He's probably thinking, what if he plays queen to a4? I think I just move my queen to c3. If he goes queen a4, queen c3. So there we go. That was a dubious move. Now I got bishop to f6, so he's in a world of hurt here. He's got to lose a piece in exchange. Boom. And that was a good game. Let's take an analysis on that. Come on, connect on me. There we go. Come on. Why is it doing this to me? I have no idea why this is acting so rebellious. Hey, at least it acted like this now, not during the game, so we can handle that, right, guys? Yeah. Just gotta be patient, work through it. Huh. Well, everything's in disarray right now. This is not good. Whoa. What's going on here? Yikesies. We'll take care of this, guys. Don't worry. Don't worry. We'll get this under control. Alright. We're good to go now. See? Just gotta have patience. Alright. We're good to go now. Let's see. So that was that game. Let's get on to our London system, my friends. Okay, good. Just make sure everything. Sometimes it's a pain in the drain, but you know what? You gotta go with it. The Lord doesn't give you anything you can't handle. That's for sure. What in the world? The wrong one. Come on. That's the one we want. There we go. Now we're talking. It's the Slav Indian defense. Or it's the King's Indian, but it's the Slav variation of the King's Indian. And we're basically just setting up like we normally do. At this point, if black had already developed the knight to d7, then it's okay to create a hole on b4. So what you have to remember is only if the knight comes to b d7 that you push a4. Otherwise, what happens is potentially he can go to c6 and then jump into b4. And this halts the queen side's expansion because the queen black wants to play b5, but now that there's two pawns buffering his attack, he can't do that. So a5 castles. Black wants to do that so that he can jump into. He wants to go boom and boom boom right in there. But remember, it's very slow. He should have played this: h6, c2, queen c2, e8, queen e8, and just retreat back because the idea is to go e5. So e5 is boom played. Rook 81. Excuse me. Queen c7 to hold because takes. This is a idea of also doubling up rooks. And then c5 exclam, hurrah. Okay, dokie dookie. Let's see, okay, okay. Our favorable break has been acquired. C5 is our break that white loves to get in the King's Indian. C5, smack. So D takes C. C, D takes E. H7. Bishop to C4 with a pin. Excuse me. B6. And then A2 because it's being attacked. We now have a bishop going that way and a bishop slicing that way. So it's like, can you get any better? I don't think so. So he tries to shut it down with C4 for black. D6, and we're like, bring it on. G5. Takes G5, and H takes G5, and F4, wham. This left black struggling in the game against A. Krummen versus M. Rodstein. It's the European Championship done 2007. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Sorry if I'm not, but close enough. Okay, so he played knight BD8, or knight to B8, and then we went E4. You know, like, hello, here we come. Turns the game into a real King's Indian. Black has invested a lot of time to get his knight to B4. So white hits back hard in the center on the king side. Boom with E4. That's kind of like what he's trying to say. It's like a right uppercut, wham. So he's like, you know what? You want to go for B4? I could play that game too. You attack on the wing, I attack in the center with a right hook. Boom. So knight A6, queen D2, queen B6, A to D1, knight D7, bishop H6. This is to get rid of his good defender, the G6, G7 bishop. Because then he'll be left with a disgusting bishop on C8, which does zero, quoting from the Big Short, zero. Let's see. Okay, after it. Okay. Oh, here we go. He's finally made it in. Woohoo! Finally, the knight made it to B4. Whoop-de-doo. Now look. His whole entire side is collapsing, but yes, this knight actually made it to B4. And the knight's like doing the dance, you know, do the dance. You know, it's like, we made it to B4, do the dance. Okay. Oh, you don't have to. I don't do the donate. It's a gift the Lord's given me, and I want to give to you guys and the chess community. I'm blessed by you guys being here and donating your time. So let's see here. Okay, so if he takes, this is actually a bad move for him because it allows the queen to actually come slicing and dicing in. And it's like that. It would have been better for him to not have done this. So he did the right move. He fulfilled his plan with knight b4. Yeah. So, but that it actually though this really led up his defense big time, and then now of all things, this will happen when you're facing certain level players. They'll get like, oh, I see a pawn, I'm gonna grab it. But that this pawn is a double question mark. It's actually a losing move because we can now drop g5 in, knight g5, and that's basically the end because we didn't then go e5, and he's now going to have to move, and when he does, he gets checkmated. He's going to lose a piece because this is actually where the author stopped. So if we take here, you get mate. So it's basically game over at this point. So he played two bad moves. First we took, and then the opponent got really greedy and said, you're giving up a pawn, but in reality that was a decoy so that we can bring our knight to g5, and then he's trying to get out of it, but it's just too late. This is the power of the London. If black gets greedy, you can basically trample your opponent with this move e5. In a lot of London lines, e5 is played to get rid of this knight on f6 for some mates. But two back-to-back moves. One was a mistake, and then one was basically the losing blunder. You gotta love when we're learning what not to do for black too. So you gotta keep that in mind. This is a lesson for white how to handle if black makes a mistake, and then now we're seeing how, if you're black, how to handle the London. So you're getting actually two lessons in one. So h2. Okay, there. Takes. So now black accomplished his goal, their goal, and white accomplished their goal. Black's goal was to get a knight to b4, which he did, but I don't really know what it actually does. Yes, it's really nice there, and it's not going to be removed for a very long time, but what influence does it have? But on the side, white did one thing. White got rid of, his idea was to get rid of the g7 bishop, which does do something for white, which it allows. Now there's these vacant points right here. If the pawn on the e pawn ever gets pushed up or something like that, e6 or e5, there's two gaping holes, f6 and h6. So this actually did more than this. This is a pain in the neck and the side before, but your king's not over there, so I don't really understand why black wasted their time doing that. I understand it can't get kicked out to outposts, but what really did it accomplish? So I guess that's enough talking about that. We got to get on to finding out more, because this was a really fun game that I went over. The author really picked a good game, I gotta say, to emphasize the strength of the King's Indian versus the London system. And that's like shell shock, wham. Yeah, and let me see here. Okay, there. King G. I want to make sure I have. Did I put this all in right? Hold on. Yes, I got it. So there you go. And then white, of all things, goes passive. E5 isn't the right move at this point. White has a stronger alteration. It accomplishes the same thing, but if you're attacking, make sure that your attack has actually, like a house has a structure, a good structural base. Make sure that your attack has a good structural base. You want a good foundation. And e5 does make sense, but remember, you're not really checkmating anything. And don't weaken your pawn structure if you don't have to. Like, your knight's not here. If your knight was on g5, e5 would, sorry, if your knight was on g5, that's correct, e5 would be an exclam move at that point. But because it's on g4, just got to be careful that you don't overextend. And that's kind of what he did. He should have actually played knight takes here. This actually was the best line. Knight takes e6, check. E takes. And now if you notice that white's pawn chain is still intact, black's pawn chain is really fractured, and now the weakness that we talked about, the two weaknesses on one on h6 and one on f6, are now revealing their true weaknesses, because no longer is there a bishop on g7. So white is accomplishing their goal of basically exploiting these two spots. And taking on f6 check would have been a great idea to do that. Let's see here. Okay, there takes. Okay, and then f4, which now you're taking scope on two weak points, f6 and d6. So one of those pawns will fall. Let me see here. 6, oh, knight. Here we go. He has to retreat back. So black's playing passive now. He's going passive. So white goes, you want to go passive now? Now e5 comes into play, and it's like wham. It's like, okay. Now at this point, it's like this has a ton of teeth to it. Because this is going to basically, if he takes here, we're going to take back, and if he takes, I'll show you. Boom. And I believe, let's see, how many pawns does he have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You have 6 as well, huh? But you are up a whole rook, so you're up a rook, and you're gonna win. So that's why e5 was a crushing move. Even if he plays there, you take back, and the queen has to, we'll say, move, and then you just grab that, and now you're up 2 whole pawns. So e5 was a crushing. Well, I guess you could take, maybe grab 1, but you're still up. Let's see how many pawns. I think we're equal at this point. Then I want to see actually what the correct line is. In each one of these. Okay, if he plays there, we take. And if he plays here, we win a piece. Of course, we went through that line. Okay, if he takes here, and then we take here. Okay, he'll play up there, and then we take. Okay, and we basically have 2 pawns. Okay, so we did find the right emphasis of the move. Okay, a little too. See, it wasn't that e5 wasn't a good move, timed at the wrong moment. You have to time it all right. Anything but that. It's like he walked right into the losing line. Yeah, this was critical for the black. He needs to keep his knight on. Keep an eye on e4. Let's just say e4 is a critical point. So taking was a mistake. There's actually knight takes, bishop takes, d5, kind of to. This holds black structure intact, and then f3 exclam is also a pretty strong move, because now you can take and take, and you don't really want to trade off. This is a bad bishop, so it'd be silly to have let black trade off his good bishop. So bishop e6. and then c5 to attack the queen. Queen c7, and black is cramped, but still has a solid structure. So it's not, by no means is black losing here, but by no means does black have any advantage here. So it's like it's a draw, close to a draw, but slightly better for white. But what black did was was not what we want, which is d takes e5 is not the best, because then we just take back, wham, takes, and then e5. Now we're threatening to win a piece on the spot with a fork. So d5, and he has to give a piece. He has to give up a piece, because the queen has to guard this, otherwise a rook's gonna fall. So I guess white figured, you know what, I'm gonna have to give up something, so it's better to do that than to lose the game right away and, you know, get pretty sad position. Let's see here, hold on, sorry, there. Okay, gotcha. Black has a worse alteration. Sorry, I have to put my notes in here for you guys. Okay, c5 is another type of not f5, not c5. c5. So d takes e. Actually, c5 is a mistake. I forgot to put a question mark there. c6. Queen c6. Well, not. Well, what's? Hold on there. Okay, sorry. There. Queen c6 to attack the knight. That's right. f3. Now we got a pin, and we're threatening both g5 and rook to d6 at the same time. So we have two threats. So this line is a failure of a to do. So we don't want, this doesn't work. Wrong answer. There's another one that doesn't come to pass either. If we thought that rook to e6 was good, wrong answer, not good. We go bishop g4, and that gets an exclam mark, because now the rook has to come back and that pawn's going to fall. If f6 with a fork, then you have knight g5, and now you're threatening check and then checkmate. And of all things, there's one that's, he saved the worst for last, and I'm glad he did, because this is like, what in the world? This one gets a double question mark, which means losing. It just looks losing. So he takes, and the double attack on d8 and the attack on f6. Probably you don't want to take with the pawn, my bad. You want to take with this here. That would have been a double question mark, my move. So be patient, guys. And this wins on the spot. He's gonna have to give up a queen, and and he can't even win the bishop, because if he does, boom, there's no way to win. So I gotta delete that. So taking here, double attack. So he takes D, it takes, and then f6, f3, and with excuse me, with the extra piece, white went on to win. So that's the whole thing. He was able to, by getting this bishop to be f6, f3, it held the knight in a strong spot. There's really no way that black can hold. There's no compensation for anything. He is, for the piece, he does have 2 pawns, but if they were connected like this, if these pawns were like this, I may think that he could have some compensation, but I don't think he has anything, because it's just not enough. And so that was sad. But you know what? I'm sure Black went home and learned from this game and probably applied it to either their students or to another game. Okay, when black gets hostile, let's go back. This is the sum and sum of everything. Let's see, where. Black gets hostile with, let's see, E4. Hold on, I'm trying to find out. Where's it? Says E7, E5 here. I'm gonna 4. Okay, it says when black gets hostile with E5, F5, and knight to H5, hit back with C4. Okay, I gotcha. At the right moment, you want to hit back. You want to hit back with C5. Let me see. I think C5 was back here, if I'm not mistaken. Where was C5? Because I got to hit it right. Did I miss C5 somewhere? Give me a sec, guys. I want to make sure I put the exclam in the right spot. Did I miss C? Hold on. Let me make sure I got all this right. C5. Oops, wrong spot. I read the wrong section. It's this one down here. If black has already developed his knight to D7, there we go. Sorry, I knew it didn't sound right. So knight BD7. Then you can play A6. Or sorry, A4 at that point, not A6, A4. And this move is really critical because it does create a gaping hole on B4, but if he's already moved to B, D7, you don't have to worry about that, because remember it took him like how many moves? 3 moves, 4 moves to get there, because he had to push that and then get in there. So he had to waste 5 moves because he moved to a bad spot already. So he had to waste in total 5 tempos to get to B4. So you have to be careful on that. And these 2 pawns, C4 and A4, lock down B5, so that there's no break that could be playable. And so we'll stop with that for right now, and we'll pick up on. We'll go over the Blitz and Rapid St. Louis. There was a really good one that Shaq played against Nakamura, and I wanted to have you guys take a look at it with me. 1 second, I gotta get a drink, and then we'll get started again. Hold on. Okay. Shaq did knight f3. Nakamura did knight f6. c4, which is the English. White's wanting to go for a win here. E6, E3, D5, then B3, which the idea is to get a bishop to B2 because it has a dual purpose. It breaks down the center for black Also, it allows white to get a light square bishop to b2. So bishop e7 was played by Nakamura, b2 by Shak. Come on. Come on. Don't stall him now. What's going on? Might have missed something. Okay. Okay, so we move there. Nakamura took, d takes c4, b takes c4, and then c5. This shuts down the queen side advance, the minority versus the majority. So this also allows now for d4 now can be met with takes, and it would make Shak's pawn structure very unappealing, let's just say. So knight c3. You can't really play, Shak can't play d5 yet, or d4 yet. So b6. Now Nakamura wants to get his bishop to b7. So g4. This was like, whoa. Just want to check one thing out. I wondered what the move. Okay. So you can't come over and grab this, because I believe that the knight, rook g1. Oh, okay. Rook g1, and then the knight has to move and the rook will grab the pawn. So it's a poison pawn. You can't take the pawn. So g5, knight f, b d7, h4. I gotta say, the reason I like this was it's a big time move. The knight e4, which was like a shocking move. I did not think that Nakamura was going to play that. I'm trying to think what would be a good move. Maybe something like knight here and then in. Knight to c, then in maybe. What would have actually been a good move? Let's see. I'm kind of puzzled. Oh, castles. Oh, that's insane. Whoa. You're kidding me. Castles? Crazy. That's crazy. I don't blame him for doing that now. Knight takes. Then you grab a rook. So you get a rook. Queen a4 check. Knight to d7. f3. b5. Knight takes b5. Knight takes knight. Bishop takes knight. Castle, king side. And then bishop bd2. f6 to attack the bishop, which I gotta say, Naka knows how to attack for sure. And then he plays bishop to g2, and he's gonna say thank you very much. I'm now up in exchange, and I'm getting my piece out of there. Rook to g1, bishop h3, and then the bishop goes back to a1, and they didn't understand this move. e5. Let me see, what would be a good counter? Okay, c1, c2, queen c2. Because I think this, if I'm not mistaken, this does allow... Oh, I know what it is. It's a tempo giver. Nakamura gave white a tempo to get going. c3, bishop to e6, queen c4, 6, queen c8, knight d5, queen takes queen, rook takes, g takes, bishop takes, knight takes, check, rook takes, bishop takes, e5, and rook f2. It's like, and this was kind of like Nakamura was getting low in time, and this was a blessing of what actually happened. See, king b2, rook d7. I gotta say though, Nakamura knows how to get the job done in blitz for sure. h5, check, bishop g, bishop takes, rook takes, h6, a3, rook bd7, rook g1, and then bishop to, rook to e6. One thing that white has, he doesn't have really any weaknesses, so this is actually good for white. I'm thinking that potentially d4 might have been a good move as well, because they have takes, pawn takes. This is actually really good for white. He's got two passers with a very strong bishop and no real in routes for the rooks to take advantage of. g2 I don't think was the best. d7, check, bishop, not sure what move. Okay, rook to a1. Yeah, she did the right move here. This was the shell-shocking move right here. Rook check, king d7 and d3, and then the bishop is under fire. Rook comes down. Rook check first, and then now rook to c2, pawn takes, and then the other rook comes sliding down. King d5, rook takes, and he resigned here. This was a really good one, and so now I will put it on puzzles for you guys, and I'll be right back. Hopefully this comes up. I'll make sure it comes up before I go for a sec. Come on. There we go. Okay, this is the puzzles. Hey, take a look at the puzzle. I'll be right back. Okay, one sec. I'll be right back. Okay, let me get a drink, then we'll get started. Five. Knight F6. Oh yeah, I remember this game. I think Nakamura lost at the very end. This was the last game. He sealed the victory with, I think he won against Shaq or something like that. And then this was the very last game, and he kind of was like, I'm glad that I won, but yeah. I'm glad that I won, but it would have been nice to have won the last game. Yeah, that was the thing for sure. And Nakamura had a pretty sizable attack. We'll turn it to Nakamura's side. Because at one time he had Karyakin on the ropes, and Karyakin did precise defensive play. It was able to parry all of, or parry all of Naka's attack. Like, when you have these many pieces coming down your throat, it's kind of scary. He played there. Because now if the knight takes here, the rook would take back and now hold there. So it'd be an equal game, and he would have had held the attack from Nakamura. Oh, was the first game of the day? Oh, okay. It must have been MVL that he. Oh, it was MVL that he played. That was it. Yeah, this was the first game. I remember now. Yeah, I got them mixed up. I got those mixed up. That was like. Cause I think this was the very first one. He didn't start out that well. He lost this one, but then he came back and really did some. I think he amped up his play, Nakamura, and he came back with a fury and ended really strong. Yeah. They played like 9. There was one they interviewed him. They were playing so many of them. I guess I might have got them mixed up. But it was a great. This one was a really good one. I know what you're talking about, Fox, about Karyakin holding. I thought for sure that Karyakin was about to go. Yeah, I really thought that Karyakin was going to go down here with the amount of pressure that Nakamura had on him under. Did Naka win this one? I don't think so. Let's see if he wins this one. I may be all wrong on that. Takes. Now this is an incredible move here, because you're thinking, what? Can't he come down and checkmate? You know, this knight does a really important job. Day 7. Yeah, it's like I gotta say that Nakamura didn't give up. Gotta commend him on that, because this would have been a tough one to have kept going in. But they didn't have very much time, so like if takes here, this would ruin the whole thing, because they're, yeah. Then yeah, black resigned here. I think he was hoping somehow to get a stalemate, but queens. And then it's just one move too late. Like if they wasted a move, we'll just say something like this, and then he queens here. Oh well, nope. We're still too many moves. We're still too many moves. So B, A. We can't queen yet, so let's make another move here. Then now if you queen, it's a draw. This is kind of what Nakamura wanted to set up this setup here, that it's a stalemate. But he just was 3 moves too shy. Almost had it, but just 3 moves too late. That was good. Do you have any questions on the line? Do you have any questions on the game? Anything that we can work through? Okay, I'll take that as a no. We'll work on some puzzles. Thinking about rook h7. I was thinking for white, rook h7 with it. That it's a pin. It's a pin. And he can't. So rook h7, and if rook to g8, we have knight h6 check, king g6, and knight takes g8, something like that. But b3 might be an idea too. b3, like what you're saying. Knight b6, bishop a3, and that attacks the rook. So ooh. Ouch, yeah, that wouldn't be fun. Yeah. Yeah, that was an idea that I looked at. Yeah, king g6 isn't a good move. I mean, it's a good move for him, but bad for us. Yeah, it does. I think this move still works. So b3, d2, check, bishop takes d2, knight takes d2, d3, rook c, rook a, c1. And I think that, if I'm not mistaken, that holds. I don't know if it wins a piece. Well, yeah, it does, doesn't it? Oh, true. Yeah, I see it. Yeah, we gotta change that. I'll reinstitute the line. I see what you're saying. Yeah, take this one out and go knight d6 check. It's a fork. It forks the rook and the king, so you can take. But would he be able to win the rook with his bishop, though? That is the sensitive spot for sure. Yeah, I think you're right on that. Yeah. Hmm. That's a tricky move. Very tricky. You have to check. You don't take the knight. You check. Because if you take bishop takes, he'll take with the pawn with a discovery. It'll be a discovery on your rook. So your move has to be check. It has to be knight d6 check, king move, and then knight takes c8. Oh, that is true. How do we do this then? I'm kind of puzzled. Because if we take, he's going to take back. Well, maybe we can push our pawn at that point. So I think we may have to play bishop takes e3. D takes e3. And maybe knight d6 check. And if king e6, we have e5 to block the pawn. I think you still go. I think you still go e5. I know, but it does block this out. So you kind of have to. Once we take here, this opens up this whole diagonal here, and so you have to shut it down. Oops. You have to shut it down. Let's give it a oops. Yeah. Well, I didn't even think that. I thought that. What's the continuation after takes here? Okay, so G. And if king comes there, and if he takes. That's very weird. Yeah. Yeah, this is the only sitch here. I think it's per pet. Yeah, it's a per pet. Yeah, it is very unusual. I had no idea how that would actually play out. That was a tough one. We were on the right track with the knight just didn't play it correctly. This is kind of different, to say the least. I think we have to play first e6. If bishop b7, you play rook takes c6, bishop takes c6, e7 check, king e8, and knight takes c7 check, king takes e7, and then knight takes maybe a8, but I don't know if that's right. That's okay. Hey, you know what? It's all about learning. Don't worry. I remember what Fabi said. He says that like every game's a new game. Every chess puzzle is a whole new chess puzzle. As long as we learn from it, even if it is even if it was kind of silly. Well, oh, wait a second. We could just Oh, that was silly of me. We could just take the rook with queen. Oh. Snap. Gotta go back to the drawing board again. Back to the drawing board. Copy. Paste in. And king moves to e8. We go e takes equals queen check. E takes f8 equals queen check. That was silly of me. We could have just done that. Okay. And we're down in exchange. Yeah, if we play here, like what we're talking about there, rook takes, and then knight d, there, there, and we're actually down 3 pawns in that line. Okay. Yeah, that was a tough one to decide on, but I believe that it's this, and then if he goes bishop there, we push. Actually, sorry, no, here, there, rook takes, pawn push, king moves over, takes, king takes, then knight takes, or maybe knight takes. No. Hmm. So what do you guys think? Do you think it's the first line is e6? That's what I'm thinking. I think that line's right. But I'm not sure if we get enough compensation for it though. What do you guys think? Do you guys think e6? Huh. We might double up rooks at that point. Hmm. So this is what you're thinking here. Okay. Huh. Hmm. Yeah, I'm thinking that too. Hi about that. I'm thinking also about that. That e6 probably for sure, but we have to find the continuation after that. There is a potential rook takes knight c6, then pawn takes, knight moves, bishop. And then we maybe get the pawn rolling, but I don't know. He's gonna try to fee and shadow his bishop. So why not just take the c7 pawn? Just grab the c7 pawn. You gotta be. What are we missing here? I have no idea. It takes. Boy, this is. Don't tell me. Do we just double up? Oh man, Ashevitz. Yeah. Why doesn't this work? Okay. Now that was insane, so crazy. We'll do one more. We gotta get one that we can do. And I gotta say, those are interesting, to say the least. That was a pretty. We should have seen move the rook over. You know what? Get all your pieces involved. Ooh. F6. F6. Queen takes. H5. F takes. G7 check. King takes G7. And rook takes H5. You play there. He has to come over here and grab this. You take there, he takes, and then you grab. That's a pretty straightforward one. Otherwise, he'll lose his queen. So he's forced to actually take at this point. So what do you guys think? We'll do this one before I log off, because I'm pretty sure that we're on the right track here. And don't worry about taking here, because that's not gonna be pivotal, because if we play here and he takes there, we grab his queen. So yeah. That's a sneaky. Let's see if we take here. Gotta be careful, he's threatening mate on c1. So we have to keep that in the in our back pocket. We have check at that point, then we can retreat. Oh, that's not bad. Let me see here. Let's see if we take oops, takes here, rook takes. We can move the rook like to g3, rook hg3, and then if the queen tries to go, oh hello, look at me, I'm coming in, you go, no you're not, queen comes back. So we can actually take here. And then when the rook takes, we bring our rook here, and if the queen tries to do a check, we say don't think so. Queen takes, rook takes, and now we're up material. Yes, we got it. Now you want to do your queen, you want to trade off queens. You don't want to, my teacher taught me, you don't want to put your knight into a pin if you don't have to. Trade off because you're up a whole piece. So just trade your queens off and win the game. Do you guys have any questions before I log off? Give you guys a sec to on this puzzle. If you give you guys a sec to type in if you do. Okay, I'll take that as a no. Well, guys, I wanted to thank y'all for logging on, and you know what? I appreciate that you spend your time, you know, listening and getting better. That's the whole point, you know, as a group, and so don't worry. You know what? It takes time to get better, but when you do, trust me, it's so worthwhile. And we have to always keep in mind, like what Bruce Lee saying, knowing is not enough, we must apply, and willing is not enough, we must do. We have to, you know, use that idea, and like in Jeet Kune Do that he taught that you have to be water, and like in Krav Maga, you have to use your environment to your best effect. So like when we learned from that puzzle that you need to bring your rook over, we forgot one piece in the fight. You bring your rook over. You know, if one piece isn't there, if you can't find an idea, don't force it, because forcing only causes errors. So if you have to bring another reinforcement into the fight, do it. So don't be afraid to take a second and do that. If you're not sure that you have enough material for an attack or a mating threat, bring another piece in. If yours is totally superior, don't worry about it. Okay, I'll leave you guys with those thoughts, and as Wesley So says, through the Lord Jesus, as I say, God bless. I'll see you guys next time on Chess Cruncher TV. Have a blessed morning, afternoon, evening, guys, and thank you again for logging on. And Lord willing, I'll be back on tomorrow, and we'll go over some more studies, games, and puzzles. And you know what? We'll continue to keep learning. That's the thing. So good job, guys. We're doing good. We're learning, and that's what matters. Hurrah! Be blessed, guys. Bye-bye.